And, people ask me, like, well, like, did y'all not see him while you were going down there? You were so surrounded. And, I mean, it was estimated a significant number of Taliban in this village and surrounding us. We had maybe 11, 12 guys at the most, with our Navy doc included. And, who knows how true this is, but it was estimated like 75 to 100 Taliban,
Oh my goodness.
like, within the area.
Right. That all know the area. You're completely surrounded.
Yeah, so kind of like potential suicide mission. And I knew it was bad, and I didn't put this in the book, but I knew it was bad when my staff sergeant, when we were still at our previous base,
Sure.
before we hiked down, he was talking to our company gunny on the sat phone back behind this little tent. And he was pretty much just telling Gunny, like, hey, this is going to be bad. And this was his 9th combat deployment.
Oh, man.
And he was in Ramadi, I believe, 3 times. And he was there, as you know, when it was nicknamed the City of Darkness.
Yeah.
So he had been there and done that. And for him, unfortunately I heard him. Because for him to be wary, I mean, this dude he was a G. I mean, he would, just for fun during the day, as a staff sergeant who probably should stay inside, radio communication,
right.
talking with higher ups.
Be the leader, yeah.
Probably not go out. He'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to roll with y'all today. It's like, all right, well, we're going to this area. It's probably going to be bad. He's like, yeah, like, F it, let's do it. Like, awesome Marine, awesome leader. So for me to hear him say, like, hey, we need to kind of rethink this, and, this is going to be a bad one. I knew it was going to be bad. Obviously, we didn't know how bad. But, as far as getting attacked the second we moved in there, because everything's so unconventional, no one's wearing uniforms, everyone has little burner, prepaid cell phones.
Yeah.
So the second we walk out of our base, every step of the way down, there's a scout. There's someone calling down to Shadier, his boys down there, hey, Marines are headed your way. So when we walk in this compound, obviously they know where we are. We're not going anywhere. We're not scared of them. We just don't know where they are.
Yeah.
And so instantly, almost, grenades.
Lobbing grenades
over the wall of the compound. And it was so bizarre because, where we were, a lot of people, I think of Afghanistan as mountains, arid, dry, rugged terrain.
Yeah.
But kind of when we went into the country, for the most part, I think the Army took kind of the northern part of the country. Marines focused more on the south. So where we were was very lush agricultural farmland. I mean, every day I had my machine gun over my head wading through sewage canals and waterways.
Oh, wow, yeah.
They obviously can't IED or booby trap those. And so, it was very almost like a mild Vietnam.
Yeah.
And so, with that said, Afghanistan, we're fighting tree line to tree line and across agricultural fields and through people's backyards, which most of the time, that fighting environment, unlike Iraq, which is so urban and more house to house and street to street, to throw hand grenades, you have to get in pretty close proximity of what you can throw.
Sure.
And so when the first grenade landed, I was outside digging filling sandbags and at the same time digging a burn pit because there's no infrastructure. We just have to burn anything we go through.
Yeah.
Human waste to MRE boxes to everything. So we're digging this burn pit, filling sandbags, and just for people listening, we fill sandbags and we build them up in circles or structures on top of roofs, so whoever's on a lookout position, what we call a post position, essentially just on this elevated position with your gear on and your weapon, looking out for an attack, bad guys, making sure the Marines that are either eating, sleeping, cleaning their weapons, relaxing within the compound, who are not on lookout, are safe.
Right.
And so we're filling these sandbags and we hear something and somebody said, "Who's throwing rocks?" And then, boom, first grenade goes off. And, dude, for the next 30 hours until I was injured, or, it might not be exactly 30 hours, but roughly a day and a half, it was either grenades being lobbed over the wall or a nonstop just, harassing AK-47 fire and small arms attack.
Jeez.
And so
were you able to engage these guys at all throughout that 30-hour time frame? Or were they so far away and knew the terrain and everything so well that it was just even difficult to engage them?
more of the latter. And, we were in this village, and what the Taliban will do is they'll bust out like crawl through size holes in walls within compounds. So they can run through,
Go in and out of compounds
and never show themselves. And they punch out little barrel holes. And so, very cowardly, punch out these holes, never expose themselves by running through compound walls. And, more harassment because a lot of it wasn't accurate. But, essentially protecting themselves and being able to shoot at us without ever exposing themselves.
But I mean that's what we would attempt to do too, right?
Yeah.
It's like give yourself the best advantages possible. Like it's hard to say because it's the enemy, but it's like, well, we would do that same thing as well.
Yeah, very true. But, to not have a uniform on and do that, and then you can literally put down your weapon after you've killed 2 Marines, and walk out of this house, and be like, oh no, there's fights going on.
That's true. That's it. I agree with that. And then even using civilian population as cover, like that to me, I 100% agree with you.
Exactly. During firefights, a little side story, but during firefights, I one time fighting with the Eastern Village, which was a very bad spot. I kept seeing, we kept getting rounds coming in, kept getting shot at. And finally, I saw where the dust was kicking up from the rifle, the AK-47. Yeah. And so finally, I had this doorway this guy was in. I was looking through my ACOG. I had my saw ready to go. Obviously wanting to protect the Marines around me. I think, war and hurting another human being is an absolute last resort. But if you're going to sit there and continuously shoot at us, something needs to be done.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this doorway. And, thank God I had trigger discipline and I didn't just, let him fly. Dude throws his wife, or maybe not his wife, but a female out in the doorway. Therefore, we maybe shoot her. He gets to complain about the Marines. We get in trouble. Yep. We might not patrol for a few days. Yep. They regroup their operations. And he doesn't care about her or what happened to her.
Right.
So you're exactly right. That's a good point. But, yeah, man, we And, I think I would like to say, Marines are so prepared. Like I said, we weren't scared. It was just I think we went down there with an inadequate number of Marines and external support.
Right.
And
sounds like it.
And there was just so many bad guys. And, the walls of these compounds are 10, 12, maybe 15 feet high.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we were so limited, we couldn't really even send out a for real official full 12-man patrol because that's all we had. We wouldn't have been able to man the base.
Right.
So, we would send out like a fire team, 4 Marines or so, just in the immediate perimeter. But, our mission wasn't to go down there and secure the whole village. We were just there to set our foot in the ground, establish that presence, and try to survive and take care of each other until that help arrived.